Today I want to share with you electrolyte supplements. Back in 2015, when I started to run longer distances, I at that point was doing half marathon distance and could do it under 2 hours, and I would not take any water or nutrition with me. And in fact, I'd be like, if I did stop for water, I'd feel like my tummy would cramp up and hinder my performance. So at that point, I was just like, get the run done, call it a day, and fuel afterwards, or refuel afterwards. Once I started pushing past that 2 hour mark, though, I would come home and be sick. My body was depleted, and I didn't really understand what was happening nutritionally. In 2016, I summited Mount Rainier for the first time, and when I came back, was heading down the mountain, I thought I had altitude sickness. I had a migraine, and then that night when I got back to my apartment, I went straight to bed. I felt like I had the flu. I felt like I had a stomach flu, body flu, the whole gamut. I woke up in the morning and my eyes were swollen shut, but within a couple hours, I was high on endorphins. I was back to normal. It was crazy. So still at that point, I was thinking it was altitude sickness, and I was like, what is going on? So then I started to train for my marathon, which definitely meant I was going out for much longer runs, and I knew I needed to start adding some calories and fuel into the mix. I did not like the gels, and I didn't really, the only electrolyte water supplements that I knew about was like Noon, and they were just like 15 calories per tab. So I was actually experimenting more with food. So I would get like those squeezy pouches that look like for babies, and they'd be filled with like oatmeal and a fruit combo. And that was fine for a while, but then you start running into other digestion problems. Like I learned when I did my 100-miler, of when you keep eating food every aid station and having snacks in between, then that starts a process, and then you just feel like you have to go poop all the time. So that's not enjoyable either. So what I have started to do in order to try to balance out the need for calories but not having too much food in my system is finding the right electrolyte mix for me. So I had done Goo Roctane, and I really liked the grape flavor, but that had caffeine in it, and you can't run for hours while continuing to sip on caffeine. At least I can't. My body starts to freak out, and other ways of always trying to ride that caffeine wave. So I've been constantly on the search for a electrolyte supplement that has calories, more than 10 or 15. We're talking, 50 to 100 calories easily that you can add per, quarter liter, half liter of water. Has nutrients, magnesium, vitamins, in order to, keep replenishing your body. I'm a big sweater, so I've done the salt tabs as well in order to stay on top of my sodium output. And I needed to taste good without being too sweet. So last year I was hiking in the Alps and in Switzerland, and I ran across this brand called Isostar. They have it in tab form, and then this is the container that just has the scoops with the powder. This is a cranberry flavor, and they also have orange that I've tried, and they're both delicious. They're not overly sweet. When you add the tabs or the scoops, they say about 150 calories per half a liter. I can add a little bit more, probably go up to 4 scoops or 200 calories per half a liter without it getting overly sweet. And over like a multi-day run or an 8-day hike, I did not get sick of it. So not sponsored this in any way. What I actually did was probably paid double the cost of this to order it off of Amazon in the UK, ship it to my colleague who lives in the UK, and then paid her to ship 4 bottles of this to me. This is how much I really like this stuff. That's not sustainable. She will bring me some back when she comes back to the States on her next visit. But that is how important these electrolyte supplements are for me for doing these longer runs and hikes.